somewhat unconventionally, I'm going to ask you all one question. And I would love for you all to respond with as much energy and passion as you possibly can on an empty stomach right before lunch with the same answer. Unanimously, that answer is going to be, it's all good. Again, the answer to my question, it's all good. What's good, everybody?
It's all good.
That's right, it is all good. Life is all about perspective. And I got to tell you, from my vantage point, watching the speakers that I've seen thus far, engaging with some amazing corporate planners, which is something that I've never done in my whole entire life, life is good right now in this moment. But I would also venture to guess that life is not as good for me or many of you in this room today as it was when we were kids. You guys remember when we were kids? Acting a fool, having fun, doing anything that came to our mind, dancing, singing songs, not having a care in the world, painting paintings. Oh, you don't like my painting? I don't care. I'm going to throw it on the refrigerator anyway, right? We didn't care. Why? Because we didn't worry what people thought about us. But what's interesting is over time, we got into the workplace, we had kids, we got married, not necessarily in that order, maybe in that order. But we got into the workplace and all of a sudden we lost our frickin' minds. We got further and further away from the things that gave us strength. And why? This right here. We're worried about what people think about us. Somebody once told me, they said, Paul, don't worry about what people think about you, because they don't think about you. Wow. Isn't that powerful? And it's true. We go through daily, every single day, thinking about our outfits, what we do, what value we're adding in this life. And the bulk of folks are not present enough in their day to even recognize what you have to offer. Would you guys agree or disagree with me? Beautiful. Thank you very much. So, connecting to life through fun, getting back to our roots. What's interesting about this is I embarked on this journey years ago to be a speaker, and it's only in the last 6 months where I decided, you know what, I'm all in. Fun is my mantra. Connecting to life through fun. And there's been many agencies, many corporate individuals to tell me, Paul, you might rethink that business model. There's a lot of organizations out there that don't want to have fun. There's a negative connotation out there of fun in the workplace, right? But when I'm talking about fun, I'm not talking about silliness. I'm not about acting a fool. I'm talking about fun with purpose. See, I believe in my heart of hearts that there's not one organization, association, or industry out there that's not looking to improve employee engagement, reduce attrition, or create the environment where people actually enjoy coming to work. I know because I've lived it. I lived in the insurance realm. People used to call me Tigger. Because I never slowed down. I always had all the energy, and that's an absolute true story. Give it time, this place will get to him. Give it time, this place will get to him. When I was growing up, my mom told me the world is at your fingertips. You could do whatever you want, you could be whatever you want, and you could literally change the world. And my first job as an underwriter out of college, I hear folks saying that I am not normal. I'm not normal. And if conforming to everything that the corporate landscape wants me to be is normal, then I got news for you folks. I don't want to be that. Now, Diane just got up here and she talked about all the different generations. The workforce has changed, and Diane did a phenomenal job outlining that for us. Well, guess what millennials are motivated by? Fun. Connecting to life through fun. Now again, I'm certain this applies to every organization I know because I've lived it. Simon Sinek said, start with why. Why do you do what you do? I'll never forget, 2 years ago, I was sitting in my living room, a gentleman that I look up to a great deal. His name is my Uncle Kevin. Uncle Kevin, that's what I call him. That's his full name. I look up to him a great deal. He's an engineer. He told me one day, genuinely interested, he said, Paul, tell me about fundamentalism. What's fundamentalism? Do I have to turn this thing on? Nope. Fundamentalism. I said, Uncle Kevin, simply put, it's gravitating towards the things that give you strength, not the things that tear you down. It's a very deliberate approach to happiness. It's being present in one's day. You, sir, with the glasses and the plaid shirt, what's your name? Richard? My name is Paul. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, sir.
Oh, nice to meet you.
You don't have to know what fundamentalism is to understand that this gentleman is fundamentalism. The question was asked, who was at Woodstock? Diane didn't even get wood out of her mouth, and he was like, yeah! Hands up, genuinely excited, and that's the power that music and experience could bring. That's a fundamentalism, listening to music with purpose. So I'll never forget, I'm explaining this to my Uncle Kevin, again, engineer, very black and white. Things are the way that they are because that's the way that they were meant to be. He said, Paul, that would never work in my industry. Cataloged it, put it in my back pocket, stored it for a rainy day. Fast forward, 2 years later, I got a call. ITE conference, engineers. It's back. I feel that anxiety. Boom, 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 boom. I'm nervous. Like, do I want to accept this gig? I don't know. But there is no better way to determine whether this stuff is real and works or not than getting in front of that audience. So I got up and I laid it out. I told him the story, told him about my Uncle Kevin, and I said, this is going to be a tough crowd, isn't it? Not one individual didn't partake in the activities. Not one individual wasn't engaged. Not one individual didn't enjoy their day, at least that they openly said to me. But what I will tell you is many of them came up to me afterwards, no less than 10, and they said, Paul, we as engineers, we understand that what you're saying works. We know it. We just can't get out of our own way. And I admire that. I admire that level of transparency. So I'm going to challenge you all as we progress through the remainder of my presentation and the day, as Morris gets up here. I want to challenge you all to look at life a little more detail-oriented. Specifically, what are the things that give you strength? Connecting to life through fun. And when we talk about that, I don't want those surfacey answers where people say, oh, what gives me strength is my family. I love hanging out with my kids. Those are things that give you strength. I'm not doubting that, right? But what's interesting about that is the same things that give us strength sometimes give us what? Heartburn, anxiety. That's absolutely right. And they could be both. But when I ask you, how do you connect through life or to life through fun, what I'm saying is, what do you do in solitude? What do you do when you've had the worst week ever and you want to be about you and do something that lifts your spirit because you're stuck in a rut? You know what the difference between a rut and a grave are? The dimensions. Connecting to life through fun. At the end of that presentation with all of those engineers, it was the best feeling I ever had. And I knew in that moment that if this can resonate with engineers, it could resonate with the insurance industry. And heck, Angela, it could even resonate with the USDA that I just did this morning, and thank you for that opportunity. So, how do we do it? What's the vehicle? What's the platform? Well, fun is not just a word to me, it's an acronym. The F stands for foundation. This is who you are at your core, what drives you, what motivates you, what personality style you have. There was a gentleman years ago by the name of Richard Stepp. And what he did is he created a personality profile and associated bird styles with personalities. Has anybody ever done this test? The name of it is the DOPE personality test. Again, it's called DOPE. What's it called? I love to surround myself with smart individuals. Thank you so much. DOPE. The D stands for dove. The dove is a watery individual driven by emotion and connection. They love that everybody's included and they love to feel. They're the individual, if you go out to eat with them in a group setting, they're asking you, hey Eldon, what are you having to eat? That sounds delicious. Would you like to try a bite of mine? They're all about feeling. The O stands for owl. The owl is strategic, wise beyond measure, but also very, very detail-oriented. They're the individual perusing what everybody else is doing at the table, watching intently to see what everybody else is going to order. Then they're going through the menu and determining the price versus the portion and calculating the benefit to them. The P is the peacock. What's good? The peacock loves energy, is creative in nature, loves to be surrounded by individuals, and generally loves to be the focal point of everything. And the E is the eagle. The eagle is the individual driven by success, is a natural-born leader. They're the individual that you're willing to get behind because you understand that they got a plan and they're going to take you to the promised land. So when establishing your foundation, you have to have a strong acceptance of who you are. You have to understand your personality style and also understand that there are many different personality styles out there. So how do we adapt? What are we motivated by? What are our guiding principles? I do a fun little exercise. I'd like for you all to take place, if you would just hang out with me. So everybody extend your arms. I want you to place them firmly on the table in front of you. So if there's something in your way, just place it firmly in front of you. I want you to scoot all the way up as far as you can to the front of your seat, okay? And I want you to stand up straight as you can. Not stand up, but like be as straight as you possibly can. So we're talking about foundation, right? So you got a solid base. We should have 4 points of foundation planted. Everybody with me? Morris told me last night, he said, Paul, you ever done a showcase? I said, nope. He said, you better have your A game. I said, Morris, I promise I'm going to have them at the edge of their seats in the first 10 minutes. Thank you very much. So, understanding others and identifying next steps. Now, next steps is outlining where the gaps might fall. Understanding who you are, your personality style, how you adapt to change, and then ultimately learning more about others. And once you accept your foundation, you have a strong understanding of others, well, then you could outline where the gaps may be and gravitate towards the specific fundamentals that will give you strength. No gentleman that I ever met did it better than Mr. Noah Wilson. Noah Wilson was a 6-year-old boy diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. And he looked up to me. I'll tell you why here in a brief moment. It's nothing to look up to. But what's interesting about our relationship is I looked up to him. I never met somebody more impactful in my whole entire life. Best Noah Wilson story ever was the time where he was in Children's Mercy going through treatment. And he was sitting in the toy room. There was a young girl by the name of Brittany Kistner. She's 13. And like many teen girls, very self-conscious. Recently outfitted with a feeding tube. She didn't want to go anywhere. She didn't want to leave her room. So ultimately, she worked up the courage to run and grab a DVD from the toy room and run back to her room so she could throw it in and not see anybody. But not on Noah's watch. Noah, like he always did, he sparked up a conversation. He said, "What's your name?" "My name's Noah." And finally, she just started opening up. She said, "How do you feel about your feeding tube?" He said, "Oh, I love it. I love it." He said, "You know all that terrible tasting medicine that we have to take? I don't taste it anymore. And the best part is now breakfast, morning, and dinner, so much more efficient. I can do so many more things now while eating my food." Here you have a 7-year-old boy educating a 13-year-old girl on judgment, life, and just embracing the moment. That's the life that I want to live. That's connecting to life through fun and understanding others. Now, how did I connect with this gentleman? You may have heard in my bio that I did dress up at one point in time in a terrible cat wrestling singlet. There's a whole story behind it. If you're interested, talk to me at the break. But bottom line, it was just to get out of my head and try something different. It made national news. It was amazing. Something happened that I never thought was possible. People came up to me all the time and they said, "Paul, how do you do that? I wish I could do that." I said, "Why can't you?" This. So, I had the opportunity to do something I'd never done before, and that's get in front of a large group of people and dance. Now, I am not a dancer. I am a speaker. But through that, I got an opportunity. This was an event. It's called Dancing with the Stars. So Sharna, Tony Dovolani, all of those individuals were there, and they were judging me and my barroom dancing. Not ballroom. I kid, but I had to take 30 dance lessons. What provided me an opportunity was to raise capital for Noah's Bandage Project. I'm the president of the board. What we do is we raise money for pediatric cancer research. In just a year and a half, we've raised $300,000. That's the legacy. Thank you very much. I don't say that for applause. I say that because that's fundamentalism, connecting to life for something bigger than ourselves. Now, I got the opportunity to film this commercial, and all the proceeds for this commercial went to pediatric cancer research. So Wendell, kick that funky beat.
Time for a new dining room set? Then it's time for Furniture Deals, where you'll always find great-looking furniture at great-looking prices. Who says you can't have nice things? Practice your math skills with discounts throughout the store during our back-to-class Furniture Bash.
Sorry, I tried to skip it so you guys didn't have to get all the details, but I didn't show this to humble brag, guys. I showed it to allow you the opportunity to see of what could potentially happen when you get out of your own way and you connect to life through fun. Everybody in your organization is looking to do it. They just don't know how. They're looking for a leadership team to generate that environment that they're looking for. So, in closing, next steps. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinion for or against. All of us have judgments. Walk into it with no preconceived notions and just accept what is. Finally, if I've intrigued you enough to learn more about fun, well, hey, contact Midwest. Thank you very much. Have a great day.